and you're back with us on Facebook Live. Well, we are in a workshop room right now, a room full of women who are eager to listen to the women you're looking at right in front of you. 4 of our Restars. You're here with me, Kajal Ahuja, Senior Content Creator with Jobs for Her, and we are about to chat with our women Restars at the Restar panel. First of all, guys, welcome to this. This is a live recording, and thanks for waiting. Welcome to the FB Live of the Restar panel. In front of you, you can see 4 women who have Restar. Yeah, I'll quickly just let you know who they are, and then while I shoot the question to them, we will introduce them at that point in time. I'm going to start, of course. Okay, we have Shweta Deshmukh, who is the Public Relations Director at Praful Urja Charitable Foundation. We have Mukta Sharma, Assistant Manager, Outreach Partnerships, NSR CEL IIMB. We have Pompey Mazumdar, who is Assistant HR Manager at Prime Focus Limited, and we have Sanchita Nanaya, who is Montessori in charge, TLC Montessori Preschool. 3 out of the women sitting here have been ambassadors with us. They were ambassadors with us when they had not restarted their careers. The ambassador community is also a community of women that come together to encourage each other in their path to a restart. So, well, we can surely have some of them speak about that to you as well, as to how that helped them in their coming back to work. Starting with Shweta. Shweta resigned from the field of IT in December 2012, and she was on a break for the next 2 years. Although she began freelancing 2 years into her break, it was only 4.5 years later that she really got back to an office job. So, well, our question for Shweta is, Shweta, you came upon the company that you're working at right now, Praful Urja, and the opportunity in it through networking, right? And also, you know, quoting what you said, you have networked, attended many events, formed new associations, and met several women who have faced the kind of situations you have. So there couldn't be better, there couldn't be anyone better than you to tell us of the importance of networking, what it's done for you, how you networked, and maybe the women watching and the women in the room, how they can network.
Thank you, Kajal, and thank you, Jobs for Her, for the opportunity. I'm happy to get this question. So, would like to talk something about my restart journey. So, it all began when I resigned from my job, to take care of my child after my maternity break. And after some time, you're used to work atmosphere, and you try to reach out because you don't have your colleagues; they are just there till you work there, and after that you try to reach out. So how does it happen? You're all alone, and I had decided not to go back full time, start with something small and then take it further. So it started with finding out certain things, going out on social media, and there I ended up for an event. So it was a women's event, they had organized it. It was back in 2013. There were no WhatsApp groups like we have right now. So I just figured out the event, tried to attend it, and then there I saw that there are special breaks for networking. That was something new for me, and women themselves, they come and they talk, oh hello, who are you, what are you doing, this is my card. So that's where I found out, oh, this is how it works. So whatever field I was interested in, I decided to get into writing, and so I got connected with a woman who saw my articles, got it published on her website. That was just a starting point. And then next, due to this, so you are a part of a network at that time. You have already networked. Either you network or other people network with you at such events. So, and then later she referred me, okay, you've developed a trust at that time. Okay, you know this person, she has the skill sets, so she's trying to get back to work. And then she referred me, I got interviewed, and I got into another freelancing assignment. So that was my first project. It started with very small, so this continued further. With references you get, you know each other, and people will refer you further based for your work, previous work. And then this continued for 2 years, and that's when I realized, no, now my kid is also big enough, I want to get back into job now. So that's when again I started looking out, and I'm happy to mention, again I got networked with Nirja. That was through a common network, because you join particular networks. We were part of a common WhatsApp group, and so basically networking is also leveraging your network, getting involved in it. When you're a part of network, you can get into conversations. So that is one thing where you can end up in a job as well. So I was engaged in one particular conversation, and that's where Nija found out me. If you know, she's the head of jobs for her foundation right now, and she's an excellent networker. She's a mentor for us. So she called me up. So there are people like this also who observe you. So she called me up. Hi, how are you? What do you do? There's an event tomorrow. Would you like to come? I said, yeah, definitely. So it was the first coffee meetup with Jobs for Her. So that's where my association with Jobs for Her started. And even I met Pompey and Mukta there. So, that time we were looking out, and see, today we are in the panel. So that's the advantage of networking, or a strong point of it. So yeah, and then I became, immediately after the meetup, I found, oh, the association is really good. This is something to the next level. The group is closed, and they are getting back women to work. So yeah, I became an ambassador quickly, and it was in Feb 2000, November. Then I attended couple of road shows, and I was a part of this. And again from the same network, I got this opportunity to get back to office for my current profile. So so basically, importance of networking, I will say, yeah. In case of job search, you will find the right audience. Thing will happen fast. If you're alone, it may not be faster. When you're in association with particular people, it may happen faster. You will find the clients or mentors who will guide you, assist you, and definitely you have lot of opportunities to find your skill sets and improve it. You also add value to the people, and it's a good way to get connected with the same set of like-minded people. And it's definitely a strong point if you're looking out for a job or your career development. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that, Shweta. Yes, it couldn't be true, because you never know what networking can do. So to sum up what Shweta said, look for networking opportunities, not far out, but in your immediate circles. Connect with your friends, ex-colleagues. Just keep your eyes and mind open, and you will realize what opportunities are knocking on your door. Well, my second question is for Mukta. Mukta has reinvented her roles close to 12 times in a career that spans 19 years. Her roles have ranged from concept selling, hiring, learning and development, and operations. Since working full-time was never really an option for Mukta, she did all that she could through her flexible part-time options to stay the course of her career. Mukta, well, you've reinvented yourself, those many times. Tell us why and how it happened and what it took for you to do that.
Thank you so much, Kajal. First, I really like to thank Jobs for Her for giving us this opportunity, and I think it's an inspiration to constantly come back here and to encourage others. There were times I just like to go a little back and talk about. There were times when I was a part of the group, the ambassador group, and I kept coming back. I always wondered, what am I going to get out of this session? First of all, I was new to Bangalore, so figuring out a location in the traffic would take much longer. But every time I came in, I always learned something. And I think I'll completely go by what Shweta said when she said networking is really very important, and it's not just about networking when you want a job, but keeping that going, adding value to that, right? Constantly. taking it about how I reinvented myself constantly. I think it was just the fact that when you're put against a wall, you take the support of the wall and kick back, right? So I got married into a very conventional family, but it took some time to break some barriers and understand that I can manage both. So working full time was not an opportunity that I had, and I started this journey way back in 2002, post my marriage. So for over so many years that I have been working, the skills I realized that I had was being a good communicator, being able to easily network and talk to people, very good at getting things done. So I use this to the full capacity. You have an excellent opportunity now in terms of Jobs for Her as a platform, and they are opening up doors for you to go in and talk to people. Otherwise, typically, whenever there's an opportunity, the first thing that is looked at is you have a gap, we're not shortlisting you. So I was into hiring for a really long time, and so I noticed that whenever there was a resume with a gap, I would just put it aside, right? For the simple reason that my employer doesn't want them, because he feels that, there's no skill. For the first time, when I attended a webinar on how you should project your skills, what completely took me by surprise, even now when I say that I get goosebumps, is talk about the skills that you have developed while freelancing. Something that I never did. I always choose to cover the gaps that I had because I knew I wouldn't be hired otherwise. So I would have 3-4 levels of interviews with some really big names. I don't want to take the names now. It doesn't matter really. But what I realized is if there's a gap, then your conversation ends there. It doesn't go to the closure, right? So here I learned through that webinar. I was like, come on, do I really need to do that? I've been into hiring for such a long time. I know what's good. But I realized that if I don't keep myself open, okay, I thought I was an expert. I realized I wasn't. So what I figured from the webinar was to show that these are certain skills that you have learned over a period of time. And the more you hone them, the more you show them that it's perfectly fine to have a gap. So that's when you get hired. And while I kept helping everyone, on the group, saying, hey, there's an opportunity here and, you can go and apply, I wondered when I would get that opportunity. Okay, so for so many years that I've worked, in 19 years, I think only 5 years I worked full-time. All the remaining years I've worked part-time or on a retainership basis or like a project. So every time the only thing that we did was constantly networked, go and speak to people, talk about your skills. Before you go and talk to them, do some homework, okay? What is it that you want to do? Does your skill match their requirement? Where do you fit in? Even if you fit in, is that what you want to do? So these are certain things that you need to evaluate. So once you do that, you know that you can go ahead and do the journey that you want. And please don't look back. Just keep going. If you want to look back at your triumphs. Yeah, there'll always be highs and lows, but the Jobs for Her team is there. They are awesome in terms of giving you the kind of support that you want. I'm not trying to take up the name again and again just because I'm a part of the ambassador team, but it's really helped me come up through so many lows that I've had. And every time I would be like, I still remember the date when I think Neerja Ganesh posted a requirement of I am Bangalore on on the platform. Okay, so it was for content. And then I was like, I've been doing content for my programs. I'm a trainer. I've been a trainer for over a decade. So I was doing training programs both for educational institutions and corporates as well. But then I wanted to understand how to digitize the content so that I'm not out of a opportunity. So because someone posted it here, I applied and I had 6 rounds of interviews, got through, got in. Now I'm on the other side. I'm not doing the same role that I was doing earlier, but I decided to do something else. So she was talking about concept selling and then training and then hiring and then now operations. So I'm on the other side of what I was doing. So all I'm saying is just go for it, talk to people, network. Don't start digging a well when you're thirsty. Keep digging it, right? So that when you're thirsty, your well is ready, right? So all the very best to you, and kudos to the Jobs for Her team. I really, really appreciate what Neha Bagaria and the rest of the team is doing. Great to be a part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mukta. We couldn't be happier having you guys on board as well. The second part of my question was also what difference has it made to be a part of the Jobs for community, which Mukta has already communicated to you. Well, we'll move on to Pompey. Today, Pompey proudly dabbles between HR, which is her full-time job, and creative writing, which is her passion, but which has brought her a great deal of fame as well. She has successfully authored books which have been published. Pompey had gone on a 4.5-year break to nurture the growing years of her son. My question to Pompey is, the birth of your son brought in joy and excitement as it does for every new mother, but over time you mentioned that it faded and you reached an all-time low on confidence and emotion. Tell us what led to that, Pompey, and how you're here today on the other side of that spectrum.
First of all, good evening to everybody. I welcome you all to the Restart journey, and I'm really thankful to Neha Bagaria and the entire Jobs for Her team for inviting me for this event. I have traveled all the way from Hyderabad to make up for this event, and I'm really feeling happy to be a part of that. Coming to my Restart journey, yes, I would like to share my experience with you all. I was always very ambitious since my childhood days. To me, the meaning of life was totally different. I always thought that when I grow old, when I complete my studies, I will take up job and then I will continue till the age of retirement. But then things changed when I became a mother. And as a part of a nuclear family, it was even more difficult for me to get back to work after 6 months maternity break. So I had to replan everything. So then at that moment, I decided that let me take a break for 1.5 years and be a stay-at-home mom for 1.5 years for the upbringing of my son. After about 1.5 years, parenting was quite enjoyable, but at the same time, lots of frustrations had also seeped in. I realized that, I was away from the social circle, from the society, and, I was really feeling jealous to see my friends and colleagues, climbing up the ladders of success. So I then sat down one day and decided that I should get back to the place where I was before the birth of my son. And I also discovered and realized that no one is going to help me until and unless I do something for myself. And I still believe on that, like self-motivation is the most important thing, because if you really want to do something in life, then no one can stop you. But if you really don't want to do anything in life, then no one can force you to do that. So everything is actually up to you, in your hands, how you want yourself to take it forward. So after 1.5 years, I started building networks. So my first step was to, because that time, WhatsApp, I was not too much familiar to that. But then I started networking with people through Facebook. I decided to become an active member of LinkedIn.com. And then I started chatting with more and more people in WhatsApp groups and all. One fine day, when I logged on to LinkedIn.com, a number popped up. It was the number of Kushali. She was actually the member of Jobs for Her team, and her number was mentioned over there, and it was for a drive for women who was on career break. So immediately when I saw that, I got in touch with her, and then she got me connected to a group of women where everybody was in the same boat from different fields. So I felt that this is a place, this is a platform, where I can share my thoughts, my experiences, and my learnings with people, like-minded people. I started participating in the group, and then I attended lots of free webinars conducted by Jobs for Her team. I also attended lots of meetups and conferences and all, and I gained lots of experience and learning from that. I really gained lots of confidence to see people like me who had taken career break, but then they were successful in their career when they came back, and it was really very encouraging for me to listen to their stories, of their life stories, like how they came back and how they made it. I also became ambassador and started, working for them as a volunteer. I started, spreading the words about Jobs for Her to my, community and wherever I went. And I started getting encouragement. People started saying that at least you are doing something. So that, lifted me up. So after that, as an ambassador, yes, I met lots of people. I met lots of, I myself, organized many small events in my home and all, and I invited my known groups and explained them about the company, and people were actually interested to know more and more about Jobs for Her, like how they can be part of that, where they can go and post their resumes and all. So I helped them in doing that, and many of them have become part of the ambassador group after that. And I became an active member of the group. I used to participate every day. I used to chat with the people in the group, and then they are the ones who really encouraged me to take up writing. So writing was my passion, as she has already mentioned, but then I never thought it as a profession. I was into HR. I have worked for 6 long years as an HR, but then I went for 4.5 years career break. But during those breaks, I have utilized it through my writings. So it was Jobs for Our team who really encouraged me to take up writing, and they encouraged me with small topics so that I can start up with my writing. And today I can proudly say that I have completed writing close to 100 blogs, and those blogs turned into scripts, and I can proudly say that I have authored 9 books, and those books are available in India and abroad, and I really feel proud of that. After about 4.5 years, when my son was close to 4 years, I got a very good opportunity from Prime Focus Limited, Hyderabad. It is a media-based company, so they have offered me the position for assistant HR manager. So I quickly grabbed that position, and I'm currently working for that organization. And I'm really happy to say that I never knew that I have that quality in me. I'm able to manage my job, I'm able to manage my household things, I'm able to take care of my son, and apart from that I could still hold on to the habit of writing books. So along with my job, I'm still continuing with the habit of writing books. And once again, thanks to Jobs for Her for inviting me for the event, and I'm happy to share my experience with you all so that you all can start your career. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Pompey. Well, I'm so inspired myself. I'm sure the women in the room and the women watching are as well. If you have questions for these women, then please shoot them in. We will have them answered. And if, of course, we're going to hold on, the women in the room are going to hold on to their questions for the last 15 minutes. Moving on, last panelist for the day, Sanchita. Sanchita has had a career background in PR for many years before her break, where she worked with large established brands and smaller ones. But after her career break, she chose to switch careers and move into the educational arena to be able to be with her daughter and pursue a career. Sanchita is a single parent, and being a single parent is far from easy. Can you tell us what that entails, Sanchita, the challenges and the decisions that you need to make? And also tell us of the personal choices that you had to make for your daughter and your career after becoming a single parent.
Thank you, Kajal. Thank you, Jobs for Her, for having me here, and all the best to all of you all as well. So, when I started my career, straight out of college, I always imagined myself to be this high-flying corporate person with a corner office and a potted plant in the office, and all of that. I did have that for a very short time. Then, as most women do, the career had to take a back seat when I got married. Fortunately, unfortunately, things didn't work out too well during my marriage. So I had a child also. So I decided for the future of my child, I would rather be happy than be unhappy and subject her to the same thing. So I left my husband. I walked out when my daughter was 9 months old. I moved back to Bangalore, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I have to show her that this is how a woman can be. You can be yourself. You don't need a man to depend on. And started looking out. My confidence was at an all-time low. I'd gone on this break. I wasn't sure why people would want to hire me. I mean, yeah, sure, I've got experience and all of that, but I've been on a break. And there are so many younger people coming up with better experiences, better education. Why not? Why me? Why not them? And suddenly I realized that my daughter was a year, she was almost 2, and it was time for her to start school. And I started looking at schools, and I realized that schools' education is frightfully expensive. Now, being a single parent living off your mother's retirement fund isn't a very easy thing to do. And at some point in time, the shame kicked in and said, you know what, maybe it's time I also do something. I had a very good set of friends. I have a very good set of friends who helped me out, who got me into a Montessori course. So I did this Montessori course and I said, okay, fine, let's see. Never in my entire life had I dreamt that I would be a teacher. I mean, I was the rebel child. I was the one who was always getting caught in school and in college. I bunked college. I was never in class. And I knew my teachers. I was a nightmare for my teachers. So when I started teaching, I still remember my first day of school, preschool, and there are all these tiny little children all around and they're all looking up at me and I'm looking down at them. Neither of us knew that each one of us was as scared of the other. You know, we were looking at each other and I'm like, okay, fine. So all I need is to call on all the patience that I have buried somewhere deep inside of me. And it worked. It's been 2 years now and it's worked. As for being a single parent, it's difficult. You know, there are times when you're wondering, am I doing the right thing? I mean, that's what I had to go through before I started working. I had an option. Do I go back to a corporate job or do I take up a teaching job? Because a corporate job, let's face it, pays a lot more than a teacher. We teachers are underpaid, overworked, and we're not appreciated at all. So you're looking at this and you're thinking, you know, what is more important? Earning money or spending time with your child? Because I know at the end of the day, when my daughter comes back home from school, she has nobody other than me. I'm the one who asks her, how was your day? What did you do? Did you have fun? Did you fight with anybody? Did you hit anybody? You know, those are the kind, nobody else is there to ask her those questions. So at that point in time, I decided that, you know what, it's okay. Money will come. Somehow, somewhere, it will come. What's more important is spending time with her. And over the last, she's going to be 4 now, so over the last 3.5, 3 point whatever years, I have had to make a lot of sacrifices, a lot of change, something I never imagined myself to do because I'm one of the most selfish people that has lived. You know, when I was working before I got married, all my salary was my pocket money. You know, go on holidays, buy things, just blow it up. Now it's everything is counted. I'm like, you know, little less for me, a little more for her. Nothing for me, something for her. So those kind of things, it is difficult, but at some point in time you start adjusting yourself to this. And I really don't know, like everybody over here said, you need to network, you need to keep, I mean, it was very easy for me. When I was married, I'd stopped keeping in touch with everybody. Because for me, I was like, you know, I have to make this work, you know, I have to do this. So it was only my husband, my in-laws, and their world. I stopped keeping in touch with my family, my friends, everyone. But something, I don't know, I guess my friends saw something in me. They continued to keep in touch with me. And thank God for social media. Thank God for WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Facebook, and all of that. And I just kept in touch. And that's how I heard about Jobs for Her. And my initial thing was, what can they do? I mean, yeah, so it's just another website. Till I read about it again and I'm like, oh, this is for people who are restarting their careers. You know, maybe I should give it a chance. I should give it a try. And, well, here I am. So, don't look back. Like Mukta said, don't look back. Look forward. Don't sit and think about, oh my God, why it's not possible. I can't do it. You know what? Someone, just before we walked into this room, told me that the problem with us women is we always look down on ourselves. We don't give ourselves that, we don't allow ourselves to be confident. I think it's time we stop doing that. It's time we started looking at ourselves as, come on, we give birth to children. We look after households. It's not so different in a company. It's not so different in a job. It's just two different things. We can juggle so many things. You know, you can make a roti on one side and you can be stirring something else on the other side. We are multitaskers. We can do it. Have faith in yourselves and just move forward. That's it. Anyway, all the best to all of you all and thank you.
Thanks, Sanchita. Thanks so much. Well, I'm sure it is. I mean, I'm sure that there's nothing lacking when it comes to inspiring you for the women in the room. But does anyone have a question for any of the women with regard to their personal journeys or their professional ones? No one? Well, my second question to all of them was going to be about what Jobs for has done for them, but as you can see, they all have it covered in their initial questions. So I really want to thank you guys for being here today. You all have been through and through Jobs for champions, and you still take the time even after having restarted your careers to attend our events and to be there just because you're like, no, we're going to be there for you because you were there for us. So thank you for your support. Thank you for being here today, and we're wishing you the very best in continuing your journey.
Kajal, I would like to mention one thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So, one main thing due to networking is the associations which I have formed. It will be the association of ambassadors of you, everyone, and yeah, I've formed some good friends. So Jamuna is here. We connected in JFF, and she referred me to some projects also I've got earlier. So I've got the work through her. So I think you can make some lifetime associations as well. So I mean, you have the opportunity to grow a lot through this. So yeah, I wish you all the same and all the best. Thank you so much.
Yes, we'd like to wrap it up by letting you know that, it is the end of the day. We hope we've left you with enough inspiration. Like the women in the room said, there isn't anything as strong and as powerful as networking is today. So think about it. We hope you took notes. Leverage your networks, make the most of it, and stay tuned. Follow us on www.jobsforher.com. We do have a Facebook presence. We're on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And look out for everything that you need to come back to a career. We have mentors, we have reskilling opportunities, we have communities like these, and more. Stay tuned. We'll be back.